Okay, so what we got here, Daniel Jansen did an excellent little video on making a small little toolmaker square, very similar to this one here. Not quite the same. Actually, it's probably more like this one here, where it has a single adjustment screw that locks the blade here. So he made on camera a little toolmaker square like this, and just did a really nice job. So what I thought I'd do is I just show a couple of these here, and I recently got this one in this tool hoard that I found, and I didn't have one quite like this, because when I bought mine, I didn't buy this one, I bought this one, which is a little different here, and this one does angles, and it's got a little scale on it, okay? Now this one also does angles too, and this side, if you loosen this, you can, let's see here, yeah, see it's getting an angle cranked into it there, so you can set little angles there and then lock it down. So it's got another little side screw that pushes up there, and you can back that off, and then theoretically it's square. And then it's got a bunch of different blades, but that's not the one I really wanted to show. Let's set that aside. This is a cute little one. This is a fixed one here, and it's a stair, kind of nicely proportioned. This is pretty old. I like these little finger grooves in this one, and this one's kind of nice. You can sneak it into some smaller spaces. God, I hope I was in the frame there. And this one, you guys have seen that one on Daniel's, but what I wanted to show was that one there. And since Daniel seems to be getting into tool making there, what I thought I would do is we'll just take this one apart real quick on camera, so he can see all the guts of this and kind of how it's put together. And then maybe he will treat us. He will treat us to another video making one of these. Okay. Let's take that out of there. Let's try not to block the camera there, Mr. Wizard. All right, so there's that. Not out of the frame yet. And that pops out like so. And then there's a little piece on the side there, okay? All right, and I think what I'm going to do is I'll move the camera just slightly, and I'll zoom in on all these parts so you can see it. Oops, okay. Let's get that in the frame there so you guys can see it. And you can see all the little pieces here. So anybody who wants to make one of these, this is totally in the realm of you can make this in your home shop. It's a nice small little project for guys with smaller lathes, and there's nothing too radical here. Making the graduations is probably one of the harder things, and then these angular graduations, but that just comes from the center there. So that's not too hard to sort out, even if you don't have a rotary table. This is probably one of the more complicated pieces here, but once again, it's not completely radical, right? I mean, you could make this out of brass. That would be kind of nice too. And then it runs in that steel real well. But you can see this looks like this is trouble here. But once again, you turn a full round there, and then you just use a little jeweler's slitting saw. Then you cut this little piece loose, right? So it's not nothing too difficult there. Okay. Anyway, just thought I'd show that and maybe inspire Daniel to do another video or make another little square on camera. His videos are nice and tightly edited, and he does really nice work. So anyway, thanks for watching that. Okay, a couple guys have been asking about how I clean machines and the dried and crusted weasel snot off of equipment. And I got a few little tricks, and what I'll do is I'll show you a little section on the back side of the lathe while we got it out that I was cleaning. So what I normally do is I just put the thin nitrile gloves on, and then what I do is I go inside these then, and these are more protective to protect the nitrile gloves from getting punctured and ripped. So now I can push and, you know, my hands stay relatively clean. So I gotta turn the camera off, so I'm gonna leave that one on. Anyway, my two tools of choice here, this is Scotch-Brite here, but it has no abrasive in it, so it's the white stuff. So it's rough, you know, kind of rough, but there's no embedded abrasive in the nylon matrix. And then this is a carbon scraper here, made by Blue Point, and it's actually quite reasonable. I think these are like $6 or something like that from Snap-on, which is a screaming deal. Anyway, you can slide this thing, and then the little fingers get more flexible or less flexible. But you can scrape with this, and then it hits all those little irregularities. You got to be careful where you use this, because this will actually take paint off if the paint's not in good shape. So, but let's go around to the back of the lathe, and I got some real weasel snot back there, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll do a little section. Okay, so you can see here, this stuff here, this is pretty ooky, some pretty ooky stuff. It's dried and kind of hardened, you know, oil and some other crud. And this is what's kind of hard to get off. So what I use is, this is pure simple green. This happens to be the lemon flavored stuff here. It doesn't really matter. It's just basically a strong degreaser. So I just lay a little of that on there. Let it soak in a little bit. You know, if you got a little bit of time, you know, you can spray this crud on, and then let it sit for a little while, which it works even better. But what we'll do for the purposes of demo, and then I'll lube this up with it, and you just start going over it, and once you kind of crack through that initial layer, it starts coming off. And then, you know, if it's not cooperating, I rub it a little bit, and then I just go somewhere else. And obviously this is a elbow grease intensive process. Let's, oops. Now we got to be a little bit careful with this, you know, so we don't kill the paint here. You can see it's coming off. And it makes kind of this, I don't know, what do you call it, mud? It's kind of mud. But that's okay. I just keep rubbing it. And then you'll feel it. It'll start to turn smooth, because that's when you're down to the paint. You won't feel any bumps or anything. All right. This is enough for demonstration purposes. Okay, and then to get that off, what I like to do is, let me grab some real quick. I just use plain Jane paper towels, and it kind of absorbs the stuff into the paper towels, and then you don't have this big wet mess to get rid of. And then you're not trying to launder rags or do anything crazy like that. Okay, so you can see that works pretty good, but it's going to take a couple of applications to get through the thickness that's there. And it's a lot of handwork. So anyway, that's kind of it. I'm going to go through and kind of, while I got the machine out, kind of take care of this and do it nice. Okay, so one of my viewers has been asking about this line item here on the whiteboard, the lab contamination story. So I figured I'd go ahead and tell that story. It's a pretty funny story. And it comes to me from my sister. And she works in the, or at the time she was working in the biotech industry, kind of a laboratory setting. And they hired a company, an outside company, to come in and evaluate their cross-contamination handling practices and things like that. So there's consultants that do this kind of work. Anyway, so the way the story goes, and I may not have it exact, but it's still funny regardless. So they came in there, and what they did was they put a little bit of a material, a special material, on a sample bottle that came into the lab for evaluation. And this particular material fluoresces in ultraviolet light. So when you shine ultraviolet light on there, it lights up. So what they did was they sent the sample in, and it came in, and I guess it went through the whole process or whatever. And they brought all the employees into the meeting room, and they said, they're having this big meeting about this training meeting about lab contamination, right? So they're going on and droning on about how it's important and how easy it is to transfer materials, and people are they're falling asleep, right? They're getting bored to tears, right? Then they said, well, by the way, we sent a sample to your lab with this UV fluorescing dye on it. Okay, so my understanding was basically it was a sample container that had a little bit of this stuff on the outside, right? So they said, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the lights up, or we're going to turn the lights off, or something like that, and then we're going to turn UV lights on, and we're just going to see where this stuff has got to. So anyway, they dim the lights or whatever, and they flip on the UV lights, and the whole place goes and it lights up, right? And it's everywhere. There's handprints all over the place. People have it on their faces. Some people are picking their nose, and it's all around their nose. And maybe they were scratching their junk. It's around their junk area there, and it's just everywhere. And people are mortified and completely embarrassed because this stuff is everywhere. And then they go out into the lab, and it's basically it looks like a little UV bomb went off in there. And what this does is it drives that point home of how easy it is to cross-contaminate this stuff. So you have to be extremely careful when you're handling these things, and use protocols to avoid contamination. But the funny part for me was, people scratch their nose and they scratch their junk or whatever, right? And this stuff is just going everywhere. And I don't know about you, but in a business meeting, I don't think I'd want to be lit up like that. So anyway, it's a funny story, and that's the story. And I'm gonna take this off the board now. Okay, we got another one coming up, the thermostat story. That's a good one. And actually, I got tons of stories. So hope you liked it.